This is gonna be a extremely realistic weeknight dinner scenario. It's just after 6. I just finished work and we're all hungry and I don't really have much to work with. I don't even have an onion, if you can believe it. So I want to make dinner from whatever I have. So I scrounged up some eggs. I have some sourdough bread, homemade. It's not the freshest, it's like a couple days old, so I definitely am gonna want to toast it. I have a lot of spinach because I've been testing soup recipes that use spinach, so I have a lot of that. I've got some cheese. I have a can of beans because I always have a can of beans. I call these brown beans growing up baked beans. I just love them. Honestly, if it was just me, I would make beans and toast and that would be my dinner, but I figured seeing as this is a cooking show, I should do a little more than that. I saw a cool idea the other day on Instagram to do eggs in a hole, but do it on a sheet pan. And so I thought it would be fun to try that out. It seems like a great way to cook eggs because you can do as many as you want. Great way to feed a crowd. If you've got 2 people or you have 10 people, it would be the same amount of effort and time. So yeah, let's make some sheet pan eggs in a hole. And we'll make some beans and we'll maybe fancy them up a little bit with some veggies and see how we go. First up, I'm gonna cut some slices of bread. So there are only 3 of us. I'm gonna do some pretty thick slices because I think we're just gonna go with 1 slice each. And I have some butter here. I think I'm gonna just fancy up the butter a little bit with some garlic because we all love it. This way it'll be like a bit of a garlic toast egg in a hole, which excites me quite a bit. I think I'll do this whole juicy clove. It's really fat and super juicy. I'm so into summer garlic. Okay, that's all stirred together. So I'm just gonna spread the butter on both sides of the toast. And I think it's best to toast the bread a little bit ahead of time before putting the egg in. So I'll do that. I'm just gonna use a little cookie cutter to cut out a hole. It's kind of small bread, so it's hard to aim. If you had some big, thick sandwich bread, that would definitely be easier to facilitate the cutouts. Yeah, this works. So I've had the pan preheating for a few minutes in the oven. I'm just gonna put the bread on the pan, throw it in the oven for 2-3 minutes and then flip it and then we'll put the eggs in. All right, the first toasting is complete. I'm gonna flip these. It smells so good in here. For this easy of a dinner, the house smells amazing. I feel like that's a real perk that we don't talk about enough. Household aromas should be a factor in all of our dinner making decisions. Okay, so I'm gonna crack these eggs in. And I have a non-stick silicone thing underneath the toast. I think you can do it without though. You just have to use pan spray on the sheet pan if you didn't have one of these. Beauty. And then I'm just gonna grate a little bit of Parmesan cheese on top using the same grater. It still has a bit of garlic remnants on it. Oh, if I get a little bit of crispy cheese edge, I'm gonna be extra happy. So let's make a little effort to do that. This is going back in the oven for 5 minutes, and the oven's at 450, by the way. 5 minutes is also the perfect amount of time to cook the beans. I'm gonna take my good old can of baked beans. I think just 1 can for the 3 of us. Again, if it was just me, I would eat the whole thing. I would have toast and a can of beans, and I'd be perfectly happy. But I think with the egg and 1 can of beans, and I'm gonna kind of add some veggies and stuff to it as well, it'll be plenty. So I'm gonna dump these into the shallow pan. The beans are already bubbling. That's been about 1 minute. I'm just gonna add a couple of big handfuls of spinach and just wilt that in. I just think that this is such a good way to eat spinach because it just wilts down to nothing. So that took about 1 minute to wilt down, and I'm just gonna add one more little touch here. I was in Costco a couple weeks ago and I found they had this pressed cottage cheese, which immediately intrigued me because I love cottage cheese, and I bought it and it's been great. And I've been throwing it into all kinds of things. It's not salty at all. It just tastes like cottage cheese, but minus the liquid. So I'm just gonna crumble this in. It does have a nice bit of a melting quality to it as well, which is great. Like if you throw it in pasta at the end, it'll get a little bit melty and gooey. So I just turned 1 can of baked beans into like quite a bit of food. Definitely enough for 3 people. And the heat is off on this pan now, so that's about all I'm gonna do for this dinner. Let's plate it up. It looks to me like we have some really nice soft yolks, some really gooey cheese, and some deliciously toasty garlic bread. So I'm pretty happy with this. And the non-stick thingy worked really well. I'm totally cool with my beans, you know, touching my toast, but not all of us are cool with that kind of thing. So I respect that, you know. There's one thing missing for me. I'm all about this chili crunch. This is a Calabrian chili crunch that I get from our local Mediterranean deli. It's so spicy and crunchy and so good. So that's about it. Cottage cheese spinach beans. Let's check them out. This is a big spinach bite. Perfect. Let's check the egg. I probably could have taken it out like 30 seconds earlier and it would have been a bit more runny, but I'm still pretty happy with that. And then you can take your little middle, scoop up some beans with it. So good. Altogether, if I wasn't filming, I think I could have made this dinner in about 10 minutes. It's delicious. It's super easy. I'll definitely make this sheet pan egg in a hole thing a lot more often. Like, it's perfect for a brunch party or a breakfast party or just an easy dinner. I'm a big fan. I hope you liked this episode. I hope you found it helpful. This is just a very realistic Monday night, get food on the table kind of dinner, but that's kind of what this channel is supposed to be all about. So let me know if you like this kind of video, and I hope you make these sheet pan eggs because they're great. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next time.